what's up? Welcome to In the Shed with Fred, episode 4. Welcome to the shed. I am Fred. We got a great episode for you guys today. We're going to answer a bunch of your questions. I'm going to talk about my history, and I'm going to show you guys a little surprise, a guitar that I have not been seen holding in like 25 years. I don't think any of you have seen this guitar, unless you've known me that long. So it's going to be a great episode. Do me a favor real quick, hit like and subscribe, and please tell all your friends, spread the word about this show so that we can continue to do it. I need you in order to exist on here and just having a great time. Let's get into it here. I'll give you a little Van Halen as a warm-up. So Scott asks about the TBS song Spin. He says, I imagine it's the fastest TBS song. Yes, you're correct. I think it is, especially I recently had a conversation about the hi-hats on the bridge. They are lightning speed. It's all about the guitar riff for me. I mean, actually, I think Adam's lyrics are amazing on that song. I think the drumming's great. Everything is, but that song came about initially because I had my pull-off riffs that I love doing. I started messing around with that and started messing around with those, and then it's just at that point when you have a riff that you love, at that point you're like, all right, what's the bass line's going to be under it? And that was exciting to work out with the guys. We knew it had to be fast, and it was killer to play, and it's even more killer to sing as far as like just getting up there high. It hurts, honestly, and Adam does a great job with that one. So that's how that song came about. So some frickin' jerk on Instagram asks, why is Eddie Reyes cooler than you? Seriously? Seriously? Who asked that, by the way?
Wait a minute. So,
who asked that?
Eddie's Sunday TBS? Is that a TBS fanboy? What?
Eddie T. Wait a minute. That's it. That's Eddie,
wait,
isn't
that's
it?
Eddie.
Eddie! All right. Joke's on me. Here we go. All right. So in all seriousness, Ed and I, we talk a lot these days, pretty much on a daily basis. And we're doing, you bastard. And we're doing some shows together in January, which I'm really getting excited about. He has a new band called Faith's Got a Driver. So it's Color Fred, Faith's Got a Driver. And if all goes well, we might even do a little bit of songs together. I'm not saying we are, but it would be really cool if we did. And so I'm just gearing up for that right now. And yeah, Eddie, you're not as cool as me, okay? Because you can't do this. Let's see you try that, buddy.
That's gonna be good. All right.
You might have seen online that I went to Colombia in South America last month, and man, what a crazy trip. It was so inspiring to me. I went down there. They were having a big conference for music and also like video games. It was sponsored by the universities, so it was like hundreds of college kids at this thing, and it was at their convention center. and I was interviewed in front of a crowd of people who could ask questions, and we got into a big talk. It was first of all, it was crazy because I'm in front of like 200 people or whatever, no guitar in my hand. I'm just speaking, and which is a new thing for me. And secondly, and so they brought me down there to talk about basically what we're doing right now, like the internet. Even the Shed videos were a part of it, and I was just talking about the new way of getting music out there, and some of the college kids were like asking me like, do I ever worry about like showing all my secrets on the internet, like because like I want to get more and more in depth as we go, and like show you how this song was recorded and that song, and like how I think about songwriting. And they were like, why would you share that information with people? And to me, like, it blew my mind, because this is exactly what I'm trying to do. Like, especially at this point in my life, I'm like, all I want to do is share it. And the idea is like, you know, for me to show you like even my best secret. Like, I started playing guitar in 1986, so you probably started after me, unless unless you're an old man. And so you're going to take what I did and do it in your own way, and it's going to become, it's going to just add to the awesome music out there. And I just don't think anyone, no matter what, we're all different, so no one would ever do my trick exactly the way I do. And so I enjoy sharing this knowledge and like anything that I thought of, and I enjoy your comments sharing with me, because then I can think to use it on my songs. And you know, that's, to me, that's what art's about. It's never been a competition. It's never been. It's just fun. You know, that's why we do it. I mean, isn't that the only reason to do it? So that came up, and I thought that was really interesting. On a second note, you know, the Pennsylvania rocker, going down, you know, traveling abroad always seems to attract trouble. I was driving. Well, actually, I was down there, and we went to this guy's house, and everybody was having fun playing guitars and partying, and I don't know if you know, but I don't drink at all. So they were like, "Oh, dude, you can drive, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know about in Colombia. Am I allowed to drive?" And they're like, "Sure." So I got the keys, and we were about probably 25 minutes out of town. So and it was like midnight, and I was a little nervous to drive, but you know, whatever. When in Rome, like, I like the experience. So we're driving, and of course, two motorcycle police come up behind us, turn on their lights, and pull me over. And I'm like telling the guy next to me, Jorge, I'm like, dude, you gotta handle this, because my Spanish is horrible, and like I've been practicing every day since I came back, but like, dude, I couldn't talk to anyone. So I'm rolling down the window. I'm like, and they're talking to me. I can't understand. Anyway, they get me out of the car, turn around, arms out, frisk me, give me your ID, and thank God that my buddy was talking to them, and they were like, "You're fine, just you can go." But then I got in the car. I'm like, "Dude, are you scared? You look nervous." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I'm in another country. Like, I don't know how it goes. Like, anything could happen." So, but everywhere I go, I seem to attract adventure. So it's like that had to happen. So those are the travels of Fred. One of the fun things about the Shed videos is we've kind of been doing an overarching storyline of my musical journey, growing up, etc. And we talked about when I first played guitar in a previous segment, and songs about the bus stop, and the girls that I loved in 7th grade. But in high school, I had started my first like legit band that practiced on a regular basis and played out, and it was Stickman, which I have our cassette tape here called Ever Happy, which is very Fred, but also my buddy Andy, who did the artwork. And Stickman was a big part of my life for all of high school. We started as a singer. The singer and I, Pete Brown, met the drummer Andy Desiderio, and Andy. We all kind of liked punk stuff. Like our biggest inspirations were the Minutemen, Firehose, like early SST bands, Dinosaur Jr. And we would go to see these bands in high school, and it was sort of like part of the hardcore scene, but definitely more melodic, like those indie bands. And but anyway, Andy was cool because he wrote all the lyrics. I was writing like kind of bad lyrics at that time about girls I liked, but he would get a bit deeper and sing about, you know, issues and things like that. And so he wrote almost all the lyrics, and then I would take his sheets of lyrics at home and write music to it. And that was really good for me because I do well with teams, and so we had some good stuff. And by high school, by 11th grade, we had gotten a bass player that was in college. He was like 3 years older than me, and so when I was like 17, we were going down to Philly and playing the bars. We played J.C. Dobbs, the Khyber Pass. We'd play at Temple where he went to school, and we went up to ABC No Rio in New York City while I was still in high school. So it was a lot of good experiences. I remember at the Khyber in Philly, the guy said, "You guys are all 21, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not even 18, dude." And so that was very exciting for me to be, you know, doing those things at a young age when a lot of my friends were probably home watching Beverly Hills 90210 or something like that. And it was a little bit crazy, but a good situation for me. Probably saved my life in a way. So I have my old original guitar here, and I wanted to show it to you guys. And you're gonna laugh because of the color. So you might want to put, if you're at home, I would suggest putting sunglasses on or dimming your phone or computer screen, because this baby is freaking bright. I give you the Ibanez RG550 in 5-alarm red. I mean, come on! No, this was the main guitar I used from 9th grade until I was like maybe like almost starting Breaking Pangaea. Like I played this thing forever, and it is well worn, let me tell you. The neck got cracked at one point. The neck is worn. You can see my hand just wore down. It feels old, like it feels good. Look, still a pick in there. Look at that. The homemade pick holder with a sheet of paper and some Scotch tape. That's Ted, my bass player, and this says Fred. So anyway, I'm gonna plug this in, and hopefully it still sounds all right. The strings are old as hell, but if possible, I'm gonna plug it in and play a Stickman song for you so you can hear what we sounded like. Oddly, it's still feels awesome. It's like very comfortable to play for me. This song is called The Answer. Andy, the drummer, Stickman, wrote the lyrics. I wrote the music, and you can hear my, I was starting to learn jazz chords at that time, so we were putting those into the songs, and kind of, music. I still like this song a lot. And then I got kind of rocking, like, I look into the blue sky and I see why I have come here. My total damnation is the result of my cowardice. I cling to the walls thrown up around me. The total destruction equals only mine. Everyone wants to help me. Everyone knows what is wrong. They all know what's best for me, but no one will leave me alone. And then there was a part like, in total desperation, I hold out to the sky. Nobody answers. Everyone wants to help me. Everyone knows what is wrong. They all know what's best for me, but no one will leave me alone. The ground comes up so fast. The ground comes up so fast sometimes. Which, if you look at that song from like the point of view of like a 16-year-old, those lyrics are pretty heavy. So we were doing our best at that time, and I think a lot of other kids were finding common ground with us. So it was really good years. Stickman. It's not on Spotify. It's not even on YouTube. Maybe someday I'll get it up there, but it was a good time, and thanks for sharing this with me. Ryan asked when's the first time I met Tom DeLonge, and Mickey from Denmark, or Mikey, I'm not sure, asked if I've ever experienced any aliens while hanging out with Tom DeLonge. So Blink-182, we played a show with them in San Diego, and and it was Taking Back Sunday opening for them. And at the time it was early on. It was one of my first gigs, and sound check, Tom DeLonge was sick, so he didn't come. And So the crew for Blink said, "Hey, does anyone here know any Blink 182 songs? We need to sound check." And everyone's like, "Fred!" Like, because I taught guitar lessons in my 20s up until I was in TBS. And so I knew every Blink song from teaching them to kids. So I got up and played with Travis and Mark, which was freaking amazing. We played "What's My Age Again," and I think we played "Damn It," and it was freaking the coolest experience to do that. Then about 6 months later, when "Where You Want to Be" was out, Blink took Taking Back Sunday out on tour for 3 weeks. Tom and I kind of gelled the most. We would talk about the band Dag Nasty. And then then Tom started Angels and Airways. Taking Back Sunday took them out. I did Warped Tour with Angels and Airways, and then they wound up bringing The Color Fred out on tour. So Tom and I have a lot of hours under our belts of hanging out on tour. I recently went to see them because Matt Rubano is playing bass for Angels and Airwaves. Matt's from TBS, and so I went out to hang out with those guys, and I saw Tom, and so secretly I've been getting into the alien thing, but don't tell anyone. And I've just been like digging deep into various YouTube videos. You know how it goes. Going down the wormhole. Might have a book or two. And so I was kind of excited to see Tom and talk about it, but I haven't seen him in years now. So I didn't really want to bring it up. So we were just talking about family and, our kids basically. And then I was like, "Okay, man, well, I'll let you go. Talk to you later." He's like, "Yo, wait a second, come here." And he's like, "Yo, man, some stuff's about to happen. Some stuff's about to go down. A lot's going to change over the next year." And I was like, "Wait, did you know that I was into are you talking about aliens? Because did you know I've been like getting into it lately?" And he's like, "You are?" And he's like, "Come here." And he got in real close, and he's like, "Yo, man, I'm only going to say this once." And I'm like, "Yo, dude, should I turn my phone off right now? Like, are we going to get like taken out?" And he's like, "No, we're fine. We're fine." And then he started telling me some shit that I can't repeat. And anyway, he said that all this stuff, that they have like all this evidence that they're going to be starting to release. And literally 2 days after I saw him this fall, that the CNN and all the news reports came out that like the Navy says that Tom DeLonge's videos were real and all this stuff. So I think whatever Tom is getting into is totally backed up as far as like he is dealing with the government. And so my only thing is like whether the government could be messing with us or not, because if they had technology that we don't understand, then who knows. But that's what I'll say about the aliens for now. If you catch me at one of my shows and it's late enough and I've had enough Coca-Cola, I might rattle on to you for hours about this. But I'm going to spare you now. And yes, I love Tom, and I love aliens. Bruce asked me a question about how I sometimes reprise certain licks. I'll bring them back over the years between different projects or different songs. I'll use a lick from something old, and I get this question a lot, and I really appreciate you guys noticing, because if you hear it and you say, "I think that's from a Breaking Pangaea song or something," that means you've been listening to me for many years, which is amazing to me. But a couple examples. I sort of got this from Sting, because in one of his solo records he brings back every little thing she does is magic. He brings the lyrics back at the end of the song 7 Days. You know, I have to tell the story of 1,000 rainy days since we first met. And he sung a Big Enough Umbrella, but it's always me that ends up getting wet. He sung that, 12 years later, and I just thought that was cool that he throws back to the old fans. So I've never been afraid to reuse something as long as it fits well and it, it makes sense. So one thing that people have heard is on the song "Little Devotional" by Taking Back Sunday. The beginning, there's a lead that goes. And there's a harmony that goes. And that was actually originally from a song that I wrote with an early solo project of mine called, the song was called Veronica Road. And it was about my grandfather. It was the road he lived on. And I had that solo going over it. Nice E minor riff that kind of is exactly like the way I like to play. Like that's a cool riff that's really me, And so when I got into Taking Back Sunday, we had Little Devotional, a nice E major song, and I used it there. It fit perfectly. But then, when I was in Terrible Things, we were doing the full length, and we redid a Breaking Pangaea song called Lullaby, and I used it again at the end of that song. So, because I just feel like, at the time that I do it, I'm like, I wonder if anyone will be able to tell. So then when you actually are like, dude, what's the deal? It makes me pretty excited. Another time I used it was in TBS, My Blue Heaven, which... the chorus... and it's all too familiar, and it happens all the time. All the cards begin to stack up, twisting heartache into fine little pieces that avoid an awful crime. That's from a Breaking Pangaea song called Wedding Dress. Again, like compared to TBS, I figured no one really had heard the Breaking Pangaea song. What was the harm in using it? But the real reason that wound up happening was we had written this song and My Blue Heaven, and we thought it was going to be like the best song we ever wrote. And to be honest, it is probably my favorite TBS song that I was a part of. So we loved that song, and but we could not get a chorus that we liked. Adam had like 4 different awesome choruses, but when we went in with Eric Valentine, nothing was clicking. So so I said, well, I do have this one thing, and it's pretty much my favorite lyrics I ever wrote. We could try that. The only thing is it was used before, and well, we're desperate, let's try it. And we went in and did it, and Adam and Eric and I all were like, oh man, that's the one. That's pretty perfect for this song. And that's how that wound up happening. So it was more out of a need than in that case. So which is great because I had it and it was there and we used it, and now it's one of my favorite songs that I did with them. So thanks for noticing. I'll keep it up, but no, I won't borrow heavily, but sprinkle it in here and there just for you guys. Hey, so thanks so much for joining me and hanging out in the shed. Thanks so much for your questions. Keep them coming. We got a lot of things in the works coming up, and a lot more of this, a lot more playing, a lot more songs coming out, etc. Just thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Is my gut all right?
Well, that one button makes it sit weird.
Should I button high?
Yeah, I'd button like 2 more buttons or something.
I'm not at my optimal weight right now.
It's okay. Alright, that's good.
Ah, shit. Hold on a second. Oh my, it goes only mine. Ah, shit. Total damage. Does it have the lyrics?
Is there lyrics in the?
I don't think so. So someone on Instagram asks, why is Eddie Reyes cooler than you? Who the hell would ask that? Yo, first of all, this really makes me upset. Nah, shit, hold on, I gotta get my acting together here, hold on.